Hello everyone, welcome back to Vintage Story on the Aura Fury server. Today I am going to work on a food cellar. My food is rotting quicker than I can eat it, and I would like to have a food supply that I can rely on. So creating a better storage system in a food cellar for the food will make the perish rate go down substantially. So right now, when you hover over the storage vessel, my rates are all different depending on what kind of item is being stored. My goal is to get it to about a 2.5, 2.6. I would even be okay with a 0.27 at this point spoilage rate. So basically, the food will last a lot longer once I get this room prepped the way it should be. So I'm going to work on that today, and hopefully we can help our food situation by getting it properly stored. The first thing I'm going to do is just grab these containers and get them out of here. That way it's easier to work. I love this mod. It is so great to be able to move the containers without having to empty them first. Okay, so I think my plan is going to be to take it down maybe one more level, and then I am going to use some of the stone that I have stored in my better crate here. I made this last night and it is amazing. The stones were sort of taking over all of my chest space downstairs. So I made this better crate, and it can store 2,048 of one single item, which is like 32 stacks, I believe. And I love it. It's incredible. So I definitely recommend utilizing this mod if you have not in your world. It's pretty awesome. In order to withdraw one stack of stones, I'm going to sneak and left click, and it will hand me an entire stack. And once you're done, you can just right click to put it back if you don't need it. It's so easy. I'm just going to start by tearing out the walls that I currently have in place, and then I was taking a look at the wiki, and it looks like the inside of the cellar can be 7 by 7 by 7. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to make my cellar that big, but we can, when we get to that point, I'll make that decision. I'd like to compare what the food perish speed is. Right now, we have 3 different times, 0.54 on the vegetables there. So let's move it downstairs. And now it's 0.2. So I feel like that's better. It should be slower. The rate is slower. I was thinking about putting some storage shelves on this side of the room and then having my vessels on this side. I know it's not a square, but I was thinking this is just my temporary cellar. I will eventually build a better house that's not in the side of a little hill and build a more appropriate cellar, but this is kind of the idea that I had for now, where you just walk in and have the vessels here on the ground and then come around the corner and have some shelving. So I'm going to work on that now and get that set up. Shelves are installed, and I have one little crock over there with some porridge in it, and it is at a perish speed of 0.26, which is pretty good. I could improve the perish speed a little bit by adding some beeswax to seal the crock, but I don't currently have any wax. But for now, I think this is an improvement over what I had before, and the speeds aren't all the same. Like, I think ideally you would have a cellar where there's just one perish speed, but mine are still split, so I'm not really sure. I might need to do some more editing to the room here to see if I can get that to be one single number, because I think it's typically just one number. So let me see if I can figure that part out, and I'll let you know what I find out. Okay, I've been trying to do some extra research on the parish food speed. I was under the impression that the vegetable, grain, and other were just going to be listed under one number, but I have three separate numbers. Right now, my shelf food is 0.26, and I have zero point 0.2, 0.13, and 0.26 on the vessels. I had them give me some ideas of what I could do. One thing was to remove the door and use soil to enclose the room. That does change the rates a little bit. I'm at 0.19, 0.13, and 0.26. And the food on the shelf is still 0.26, but the vessels definitely gained some time on there, so that's good. So, obviously, using the soil here as the door instead of using a door is a little bit of a better rate. So, low lighting is key. Oil lamps are okay. Torches will make the spoil rate faster. As long as the light level is pretty low, it should be good. Now, I'm also told that the climate will cause your parish speed to vary. So, whenever it warms up, like right now, we're in towards the end of October. I think once the temperature warms up outside, the parish speed might go up a little bit. So, we'll have to see how that progresses throughout spring and summer. So, it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens. Otherwise, I really just need to get some more vessels, create some more crocks, maybe invest some time into bees so I can get beeswax later. I think that cooking food will help it last a little bit longer, especially in the case of like carrots and turnips. I think the grain is fine. It already lasts for a couple of years typically. And so if you can cook the turnip into something else, I think that will help. My other test would be to remove this from the shelf, which is at, let's just say it's good for 15.3 days right now. Let's put it into a container or a vessel and see if that makes any difference. So it's going to be the same because it's basing it off of the other rate of 0.26. So I think it's fine to keep it on the shelf. So I'm going to take the dirt down so I can leave. So we're at 19, 13, and 26. And then it brings it up to 3.2, 2.1, and 4.2. So it's a huge difference actually. So while, yes, the dirt is slightly inconvenient to remove and replace every time, if food preservation is your ultimate goal, then maybe the dirt is worth it. Dirt doors. Gotta love it. Let's talk a little bit about chiseling. I've never used the chisel before. Actually, that's not true. I removed a couple voxels from one block just to see how to use it. But let's look at a couple of different materials that you can chisel. By default, chiseling is only enabled for wood, stone, and brick type blocks, but this can be changed on World Creation through the advanced settings. The chisel is easy to create. You just need to work the ingot on the anvil, and then unbeknownst to me, you don't attach it to a handle or anything. It's just the piece of metal in your hand that you can use. Okay, so right-click the block that you're going to chisel, and then you can use F to decide what mode you want to work in. And you can see the preview of what you're going to do before you do it. So for example, if you're not really sure what size 4x4x4 is, the window, the little outline of the block will show you what you're going to be working with. So you can work in large chunks or you can work individually on each voxel. So why don't we just create a little design here and see how this goes. So it's left click to remove voxels. I'm going to sit down so I can see what I'm doing here. and it should be right-click to replace them back. So once you have removed them, you can definitely put them back if you make a mistake. Okay, so why don't we see if sand is enabled on the server? Because I don't actually know what is enabled or disabled on the server. Looks like we have the ability to chisel sand as well. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this really quick just to do a test. You can rotate your work. You can change the angle which you're looking at the block as well. And you can also name the block. And if you forget what mode you're working in, you can always see it up here in the top. According to the wiki, there is the ability to do multi-block chiseling. So basically, it will allow you to combine up to 4 different kinds of blocks to use together in one. So first you need chiseled variants of all the blocks that you want to combine. Then you can combine them in the crafting grid by placing one beneath the other. The block on top will become the base material. The one placed below will be accessible by pressing F. So let's grab these and put them in our inventory. Okay, so you take one chisel block and put on top, and take the other chiseled block and put it on the bottom. Now it's called a multi-material chisel block. So I'm going to grab that, put that down. So I'm going to pick one by one, and I'm going to pick granite cobblestone and then fill in the slots with the other type of stone. Now, obviously, this color pattern, these two blocks together don't look super great, but you can get a good feel for how it's going to look. So you can fill in the gaps with the other type of stone. I'm going to find 2 stones that are more complementary towards each other and try those. Just remember that in order to make this block combinable with the other blocks, we have to first chisel this one. And just to confirm that, here's our multi-material chisel block. And let's say I want to add the birch planks. I can't do that yet because this one is not a chisel block. So first you need to chisel the planks. Now we can take the chisel block and combine it with this chiseled block and grab that. And now when you hit F, you can see that we can also use birch planks. So let's make a little hole here and fill it in with the birch. I wouldn't necessarily say that's complimentary either, but honestly, I don't have that many materials to pick from, so I just wanted to kind of show a brief example, not only to show you what it can do, but also to show myself what it can do so that way I can start keeping in mind what I might like to do in the future with my own builds and styles. Something to note is that in survival mode, chiseled blocks cannot be copied. But if you can switch to creative mode, you could copy a block with the middle mouse click. Unfortunately, you're going to have to hand chisel every item that you want to create. I'd like to encourage you to leave a comment below if you have any tips or tricks about chiseling blocks. Thank you so much for watching. I'd like to invite you over to my Twitch channel. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 p.m. Central Time. It'd be great to meet you. If you have any tips or tricks about cellars or chiseling, please leave a comment below to help me out or help others in the future. If you're enjoying the videos, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you don't mind. It really does help a lot. Bye, everyone.